rugged highlands of Gilead, east of the Jordan River, lived a man whose story was written not with ink but with pain, courage, and the complex hand of divine providence. His name was Jephthah, son of a harlot, a mighty warrior, and a man of deep passion and tragic vow. His life is told in the book of Judges, chapter 11, during one of Israel's darkest, most chaotic eras, the time of the Judges, a period when every man did what was right in his own eyes. Jephthah was a Gileadite born to Gilead, a respected leader of the region. But Jephthah's mother was a prostitute, a woman whose name has been lost to time but whose stain remained with him. Though his father acknowledged him, the other sons of Gilead, born of his lawful wife, despised Jephthah. They saw him not as a brother, but as a threat to their inheritance. And so they cast him out. "You shall not inherit in our father's house," they told him, "for you are the son of another woman." This was not just a family dispute. In the tribal culture of ancient Israel, inheritance determined identity, stability, and honor. Being cut off meant more than losing property, it meant being erased. Jephthah fled to the land of Tob, a remote region northeast of Gilead, possibly on the edge of Syrian territory. Tob was a land of outlaws and exiles, rough and dangerous. But Jephthah, fierce and resourceful, survived. More than that, he thrived. He became the leader of a band of worthless men, a Hebrew phrase that likely meant adventurers, mercenaries, and outcasts. In this band of the broken, Jephthah found a new kind of family. For years, he lived apart from his people, far from the land of his rejection. But God was not finished with him. Back in Gilead, the people were in trouble. The Ammonites, descendants of Lot through his younger daughter, had declared war. The Ammonite king claimed Israel had stolen their ancestral land when they came up from Egypt centuries earlier. The land in question lay between the Arnon and Jabbok rivers and had once belonged to the Amorites, not the Ammonites. But the king wanted it back. Year after year, the Ammonites pressed against the eastern tribes of Israel. They oppressed Gilead, Reuben, and Gad. The people cried out to the Lord, but he reminded them of their unfaithfulness. "Did I not deliver you from Egypt, the Amorites, the Ammonites, the Philistines?" God asked. "Yet you have forsaken me and served other gods. I will deliver you no more." But the people of Israel repented, put away their foreign gods, and returned to Yahweh. Moved by their misery, God raised up a deliverer. And the elders of Gilead remembered Jephthah. They journeyed to Tob, swallowing their pride, humbling themselves before the man they had once scorned. "Come," they begged him, "and be our commander, that we may fight against the Ammonites." Jephthah did not forget the past. "Did you not hate me? Did you not drive me from my father's house?" he replied. "Why come to me now in your distress?" They answered, "We have turned to you now. Fight for us, and you shall be head over all Gilead." Jephthah made them swear their promise before the Lord in Mizpah, a city often used as a place of covenant and leadership. And with that, the outcast became a ruler. From exile to command, Jephthah now stood as judge over Israel. But Jephthah was not just a fighter, he was a skilled negotiator, a student of Israel's history. Before going to war, he tried diplomacy. He sent messengers to the king of Ammon. "What do you have against me, that you come to make war in my land?" The Ammonite king replied that Israel took his land during their exodus. Jephthah answered with precision. He recounted the journey of Israel through the wilderness, how they had asked Edom and Moab for passage and were refused, how King Sihon of the Amorites attacked Israel, and Israel, by God's power, defeated him and took his land. For 300 years, Jephthah said, Israel has dwelt in Heshbon, Aroer, and the cities along the Arnon. Why did you not reclaim them before? I have not sinned against you, but you are doing me wrong. The king of Ammon ignored Jephthah's words. Then the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah, empowering him to lead the armies of Gilead. As he marched toward battle, Jephthah made a vow, a decision that would forever haunt his story. If you give the Ammonites into my hand, he prayed, then whatever comes out of the doors of my house to meet me when I return shall be the Lord's, and I will offer it as a burnt offering. It was a rash vow, likely meant to express deep devotion, but made without thinking through the consequences. In ancient times, vows to God were sacred and binding, no matter the cost. The battle was fierce, but God delivered the Ammonites into Jephthah's hands. He struck them from Aroer to Minnith, 20 cities fell, and Israel was victorious. Then Jephthah returned home. As he neared Mizpah, the doors of his house opened, and there, dancing and singing, came his only child, his daughter. No name is given, but her innocence and joy are heartbreaking. She had come to celebrate her father's triumph. She did not know she was stepping into a tragedy. When Jephthah saw her, he tore his clothes and cried out, "Alas, my daughter! You have brought me very low, for I have opened my mouth to the Lord, and I cannot take back my vow." But the girl, gracious, courageous, did not plead for her life. "My father," she said, "if you have made a vow to the Lord, do to me as you have said. Only grant me this, 2 months to wander the mountains and weep for my virginity." She did not mourn her death, but that she would never marry, never bear children. In Israel, childbearing was tied to legacy and honor. To die childless was seen as a great loss. She and her companions went to the hills. When she returned, her father fulfilled his vow. What did that mean? Scholars have debated for centuries. Some believe she was literally sacrificed, burned as an offering, as pagan nations sometimes did. Others believe Jephthah consecrated her to lifelong service in the tabernacle, where she would remain unmarried, much like Hannah's son Samuel later would. Either way, Jephthah's vow cost him his only child. Every year after, the young women of Israel would go out to commemorate her 4 days each year. They honored her bravery and remembered her story. Jephthah continued as judge over Israel for 6 years. But his challenges didn't end with Ammon. The tribe of Ephraim, offended that they were not called to battle, confronted Jephthah. "Why did you go to war without us?" they demanded. "We'll burn down your house." Jephthah replied that he had called for help, but they did not come. A battle erupted. Jephthah's men defeated the Ephraimites, and at the fords of the Jordan, fleeing Ephraimites were captured and tested. They were told to say the word Shibboleth, but the Ephraimite dialect turned it to Sibboleth. Those who failed the test were slain. 42,000 fell. Jephthah died shortly after and was buried in the towns of Gilead. His legacy is complicated. He is listed in Hebrews 11, the Great Hall of Faith, as one of those who through faith conquered kingdoms and administered justice. He was brave. He was faithful. He was victorious. But he was also hasty, wounded, and deeply human. Jephthah's story reminds us that God can use the rejected, the outcast, the ones written off by others. But it also warns us that our words before God matter, and that spiritual zeal without wisdom can lead to heartbreak. He was the son of a harlot who became a hero. A man shaped by pain, raised by grace, and remembered in both triumph and sorrow.